This is the Waitrose Cookery School. Welcome to my top table. He's the self-taught chef who's turned cooking into a science and dining into an experience for all the senses. The guest at my top table is Heston Blumenthal. Heston, good day to you.
Good day to you.
Good day, Aussie. Now listen, reading your story is fascinating. It prompts me to ask a couple of daft questions at the top, which might seem daft, but the sense in them will become apparent. The first one is this: does a sausage taste different if you disguise it as a tomato?
It can do.
How?
Well, what happens is we eat with our eyes. Actually, ultimately, we eat with our memories. So all of our senses send the information to our brain, yes, and then our memory has to make a judgment of what we're eating and whether we like it or not. So we have some very kind of strange... I've made a sausage before, but inside the sausage it was rice pudding. and we've had a hot dog. I've done a hot dog, which is like a white chocolate mousse, and the bun, it's white chocolate and fruit. When you eat it, it's even though you know what's in it, your brain is still telling you that this has got to be a sausage, because the eyes send the information to the brain first.
Yes. But to what purpose is this? What does it teach you as a chef?
It teaches
what's significant?
Well, perception is reality, and so when people say, actually, you know what, I don't care about all that nonsense. I care about what's on the plate. It's not what's on the plate. It's what your senses send to your brain. So, for example, do you know the difference between taste and flavour?
No.
Okay, so clench your nostrils, and I'll take an olive and put that foot in the air. No, you don't have to do that. Just clench your nostrils, and then keep your nostrils clenched and bite the olive, but don't let go of your nostrils. Keep them clenched. You'll get maybe some salts, maybe a little bit of sourness or bitterness, but no aroma or smell. Now let go of your nostrils, and then the olive smell comes through.
That's right.
So what's happening in your mouth? You have taste, and there are papillae, there's little receptors for taste. There's sweet, salt, sour, bitter, and something called umami. The actual aroma is here, so smell, and it comes from the olfactory bulb, which is between your eyes and behind the bridge of your nose. So the sense of smell and the sense of taste together make flavour.
All right. But again, where does this lead you? I mean, what is it, as you as a chef again, what significance does it have?
What it means is, to get an understanding about the way we perceive taste and flavour, what it means is you can generate some fantastic emotion and fun with food. Also, I think it will have a big significance with education and confidence of children. You normally find that children that are less confident have more eating hangups. And this is a really good thing to do with kids. So the thing of being perception, if you play it, you understand how we perceive these things, you can actually create food that effectively tastes better, also is more fun and enjoyable.
When you started out, I mean, the extraordinary thing about you is you have all this knowledge, and you've got a reputation, and deserved one, as being maybe one of the world's greatest chefs. And yet you started off, you had no formal teaching at all. You actually taught yourself.
Yes.
But I mean, how did you do that?
Well, I was born in the 60s in London. I grew up then. I remember there was only one type of pasta you could buy from the supermarket, spaghetti in a blue wrapper and olive oil, and you had to go and buy it from the chemist because you poured it into your ears when they were blocked. My folks, we used to go to Cornwall every year for our holiday, and one year my dad did pretty well with his business. We went to France and he read about this 3 Michelin-starred restaurant. So my folks had never been to a Michelin-starred restaurant before, and I was lucky enough to have the same first-time experience as they did with my sister. And we sat and in this old outside this Provençal farmhouse in this gravel terrace under the shade of olive trees, and there's running water in the background, and I could hear the noise of the crickets and the smell of the lavender, and this bauxite cliff then lit up at night. And they were pouring sauces into soufflés and carving legs of lamb at the table, and there's a sommelier with his big handlebar moustache and the wine list this big, and it was like I'd fallen down a rabbit hole into Wonderland. Right. And that's it. I just thought, this is it. This is what I want to do. And then I read and cooked, and then in late teens, I started saving up a whole year and blew a year's saving on a 2-week holiday to France, and did that every year. Going around restaurants and butchers and buying books and translating French-English dictionary, French to English cookbooks, and
Using a dictionary.
yeah, word by word. It does sound a bit life's too short when I think about it now. Slight obsession, I think it might have been.
You are obsessive, aren't you?
Yeah, I suppose.
A lot of chefs are.
I think you have to be, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because the hours, even if you just worked the hours of service, so the restaurant opens 12 till 3 and 7 till 10, well, there's 6 hours gone, or 7 till 11, there's 7 hours gone, and that doesn't allow you to do any prep.
Yeah.
So you have to want to cook. I mean, the first 8 years of the duck, I was probably working...
It's the fat duck in Bray.
Yeah, probably working 120 hours a week.
Really? I didn't realise that the fat duck was your first restaurant.
First proper paid job as a chef.
As a chef. That was the very first time.
Yeah.
And you, I mean, I live in Bray, so I know you took the worst pub in the village.
I didn't realise that until after I took it.
We could have told you.
No.
It's where all the guys who been kicked out the other pubs used to go.
The police came and saw me, and they said, can we pop over? They came in, very nice, sat down and said, look. And they pulled out this list of people and said, if any of these people come in, call us immediately. I'm thinking, oh my God, what on earth have I got into? Yeah, so it was a pretty dodgy pub.
And I mean, success came. Beginning was tough for you, wasn't it? I mean, there was a moment when you nearly went under, wasn't there?
Yeah, well, because I opened with this. My ambition was, I thought, bistro, steak and chips, that kind of. In fact, my very first ever recipe was triple cooked chips in 1993. So 2 years before the Duck opened, I came up with the triple cooked chips.
All right.
And I thought maybe one day I'll get a star. That was my ambition. Anyway, we opened, real shoestring. I remember there was a lady, you might even know her. There was a lady, must have been 90, and she had a headscarf and always she walked on very slowly. I don't know if this rings a bell. She was always
most people in Bray walk like that.
Well, I wheeled a wheelbarrow of rubble out to the skip, chucked him in the skip, and this lady walked past and she asked what we were doing. And I'm Mr. Enthusiastic, thought, this is great. I'm really getting to sort of start to meet the villagers of Bray. And I said, you could come in with steak and chips or a slice of terrine and a glass of wine. And she looked at me and she had a walking stick, and she said, we've had 3 owners in 5 years. And she said, we've closed them down and we're going to close you down. And kind of slid off.
Welcome to Bray.
And welcome to Bray. Yeah. And then the restaurant grew, got the first star in 1990, opened 95, first Michelin star in 99, the second in 2002. 2004, we'd had the Riverside Brasserie in Bray. We'd had Restaurant of the Year, Chef of the Year, 2 Michelin stars in every single guidebook. So from the outside world, everything was going fantastic. Yeah. Packed to the weekends, a couple of days a week when it was dead. But the Riverside Brasserie, I was trying to keep that going because it was a very seasonal restaurant. Anyway, it got to the point where 2004, I went to do this big congress in Spain, the presentation, first time showing the world the use of liquid nitrogen and it's multi-sensory and all this kind of stuff. Quite nerve-wracking, so the world's greatest chefs. Michel Roux was there, he was in the front row along with Paul Bocuse and all of that lot. You know, got on the plane on a Monday knowing that I didn't have the money to pay the wages on the Friday. I'm thinking, 9 years of all this work and it's all come to this. Anyway, it was so bizarre. It was as if somebody had sprinkled something on the plane. I arrived, first time I'd ever been on a business class flight. We arrived in Madrid. There was somebody with a big stretched BMW to pick me up. He said, I'll be looking after you for the next 3 days. Took to this suite in this marble-clad hotel. I walk in and there's an envelope on the side, so please call the restaurant. So I call the restaurant and it's, you've just been voted for Observer Best Restaurant for whenever. That was amazing. I went to the Congress. 3 of my guys were getting ready for the demo. This guy called Edouard Cointreau, who has this, is the Cointreau family, has this thing called the World Gourmet Book Awards. So can you come to Barcelona in 2 months' time, because your book, which was family food, getting kids in the kitchen cooking, first book, has just been voted the best cookbook in the world. I'm thinking, what on earth is going on here? And then I did my demo. It went really well, really nervous. Michel stood up and said some lovely things. And it was all chaos. It was the first time I'd been in a situation where people wanted to speak to me. And do you know Nick and Jancis, Nick Lander? So Nick was there, he said, let's get you out of this madness. We'll go to a local restaurant and then we'll just for lunch and come back. So I'm in the car, my assistant phoned and said, I've just had a call from the Evening Standard. They want your comment on the 3rd Michelin star. Now, I'd only just got to a point when I was happy with the 2nd. I knew the guide was out that week and that was it. So I've gone, oh, God, what's going on? She said, I phoned the Standard. They confirmed there is a journalist doing this doing this report. I phoned Michelin. They said there's no comment. Guide's coming out tomorrow. So then, coming back from lunch, I couldn't even eat anything. I just wasn't sure what was going on. Then Ashley, who's now the head chef at dinner, who was my head chef, phoned and said, Derek Bulmer, who's the head of Michelin, is going to call you. So I get there, pick the phone up, and he said, I just wanted you to know there's a journalist doing a report. We were going to come to the Duck this evening to tell you, but you're at the Congress with these other chefs. Congratulations, you got the 3rd star. Now, I don't know how long the gap was, but all I know is he said, are you still there? I told Ashley, he fell on the chair, he started crying. And I went into this interview with a guy from the Times and said, sorry I'm late, just found out we've got the 3rd Michelin star. So he said, who knows? I said, no one. I've just told you. So he does an interview. He then said to me, where did your name come from? And I, a bit naive media-wise in those days. I'm not much better now, but I said, I don't know. I was born in 1966. My parents probably had a night out in London and parked up at Heston Services. Front cover of the Times was parents, chef named after parents' love of motorway service station gains 3rd star. So I spent a year apologising. But that moment, it was literally...
That transformed it.
Yeah, that night we had a 4 and a 2 in the restaurant. And 2 days' time I would have been bankrupt. I had nothing left. There was no money in the house, nothing left. And all of a sudden, phone starts going crazy.
And if I wanted to book there at your place now, how long would it take me?
We do it 3 months in advance. We have about 30,000 calls a day.
Really? 30,000?
Yeah. Not people. Some people do redial, probably about 7,000 or 8,000 a day, which is crazy considering I spent about 10 years worth of being like dead for 2-3 days a week.
And that was so you'd achieve your ambition. Now, this thing about the science of gastronomy.
Yeah.
All the time that you're doing all this, this is at the back of your mind of expanding the job of a chef, I suppose, into a science in a sense.
Yeah, I just think it's 2 words really important to me. It's question everything, because there's so many things in the kitchen I realise that are just done because that's the way they do them.
Yes.
And it's this questioning everything that led to so many. So the triple cooked chips idea was, why do chips go soggy? And I thought, yeah, when my mates were out drinking 10 pints and going for a kebab and a punch up,
you're always thinking, why does the chip go soggy? I'm sure.
Get a life, Heston. Get a life.
All right, then. You mentioned there the chips, of course. I was delighted when they brought into the studio their chip pan. I mean, I'm always going to enjoy an interview when somebody brings a chip pan in.
Yes.
I was raised on chips. So you're going to make that, aren't you? That's going to be your dish. You're going to do that with a steak.
Yes, the reason for that, chips because of the first ever recipe. Yes. Also, the steak has a significant moment. It was the experience as a kid, as a teenager. Then it was buying this book by an American called Harold McGee on the science of cooking. Mm-hmm. Not food science, it's a science of cooking. Mm-hmm. So why do eggs make your souffles rise? And in this book, and I was never inquisitive as a kid, in this book he said, browning meat doesn't keep in the juices. And he said, okay, what happens when if you have a smoking hot pan with oil in it, and you put a steak in the pan, what happens? What can you hear?
Sizzle.
Yeah. Well. Now, fat doesn't sizzle. Water sizzles. So what's happening is the water is being squeezed out of the steak. And for anyone watching this, that red watery stuff that comes out is not blood. All the blood's disappeared at slaughter. It's water with some few other things, myoglobin and stuff in it. So you brown meat. If browning meat kept the juices in, let's say you browned your steak and you say, I'd like mine well done. Mm-hmm. Well, you can't have it well done because I've kept all the juices in because I browned it. Well, it doesn't work that way. And it's as simple as thick steak, any meat, maybe up to sort of 70% water. Think of a lump of steak as a wet sponge. The more you cook it and the higher you cook it, the proteins contract, coagulate, just like scrambling eggs. And as you squeeze them, you squeeze the water out. So that's why a well-done steak is 35% lighter than a rare one, and all the water's come out of it.
Right.
So when I went, oh my God, when you explain it like that, it's really obvious. So that was the moment I went, wow, if that's not true, how many other things in cooking are not true? So I was like this really annoying kid, and I just go, why, until I get an answer.
They go slapped until
I go, with the wet steak. So that's basically, I thought I'll do the steak, because those two things have quite a big significance. And also from a cooking point of view, I've had a lot of people have said to me, I wish I could cook steak like I get in a decent restaurant. or there's a very simple way. I'm going to show you how.
I mean, this is my kind of grub, I have to tell you, Heston. It really is. I'm also delighted when I go into restaurants nowadays and I get the pedigree of the beast you're about to eat. So could you tell me where that piece of meat
Had
came
a very kind mother.
Yes.
It's actually Hereford.
Yeah.
It's a ribeye, and it's been dry aged for 28 days.
And the chips that are there, they're already, what process are we at in the
Okay,
three
so in here,
stages?
this is the triple cooked chips, but these are double cooked triples. So I haven't done the triple on the doubles yet.
I see.
That makes sense.
Yeah, he does.
So
I understand.
with these, you cut
Yes.
the potato, get the right variety of potato, one that's not too wet, cut it into your chip shape, rinse it under water for a few minutes to get the excess starch off, pop it into a pan of water, bring it to the boil, simmer, but don't parboil, cook them until they're just about to start to break up. That's really important. Take them out and drain them. They'll be really delicate. And all that steam coming off is drying out some of the middle of the potato, which means the chips are going to stay more crispy because there's less moisture. And there, after the cooling in the water, they then went to 130 degrees centigrade oil just to crisp the surface up. Drain them again, let the steam come off, a bit drier, and then they're ready for the final fry. So those two stages you can even do it the day before. So I've got the fry at 190. They'll take about 5-6 minutes. While the sauce is reducing, I'll come to that in a second, I think I'm going to get you doing some cooking.
Oh, good.
I might go and watch telly for a few minutes.
Wouldn't leave me alone in the kitchen, that's for sure.
So the pan, people ask me, how do you make really good steak? First, you need good quality
Yes,
steak.
we've gone through the pedigree of that,
Yep.
that's perfect.
Secondly, you get your pan nice and hot. These are metal and they don't melt.
Yes.
So people have an aversion to having pans too hot. They think somehow it's going to... If the gas goes up to a certain level, turn it up to that level and leave the pan on. I've left this on here for a good 10 minutes. Just when you put the oil in, don't leave it with the oil in for too long because it smokes and that could catch.
Right.
So as long as you're there and ready...
But you see, you've got chef's hands, that's hot, I can't have. Oh, thank you.
It suits you. Now you're not going to be able to hold it. Actually, you might be easy. I'll tell you what. Tea towel.
There, I'll go on here. That's right there. Okay. All right, lovely. So we're set to go then. So that's
now-
reducing.
Yep, that's reducing.
Yeah.
This is, I'll turn this down just a little.
And that's going mushy.
And then there. So the oil goes in. And we give it you'll see that starting to smoke. A bit more. That's it. So now, steak, season before or after. Actually, what happens when you season steak, the salt and pepper doesn't go in the inside anyway. So you don't really have to season it at the beginning.
All right.
So when you put it in the pan,
Yes.
put it just very softly because you don't want to splash smoking hot oil over you. Yeah. So there's the sizzle. So as soon as it hits the pan, you can hear the moisture coming out. So now, just flip it.
Flip it.
Yep. That's it. And count 15 to 20 seconds and flip it every 15 to 20. There is a reason for that. I'm going to put you off if I start talking to you.
Right. A man's at work here.
That's
An
it.
artist is at work.
That's it.
3, 4,
And keep on.
5.
So what you're doing there, the traditional way is 2 minutes one side, 2 minutes the other, and you overcook the outside and get a little band in the middle. This way, you're heating up, cooling down, heating up, because you're giving pulses of energy, and you get a really nice crust. That's it. Mind your fingers. While you're doing that,
Yes.
this sauce, into this, I'm going to put some white wine, and then turn the heat up. Get that reducing. That's it. It might be easier. That's what I would do, flip it next time.
Yeah, but you would, wouldn't you? Because you know how to do it.
I'm imparting my worldly wisdom.
I'm a culinary virgin.
I'm
compared to you.
my protective mechanisms. That's it.
All right. But what's out there?
That's marrow bone,
Uh-huh.
or bone marrow. Well, it's great now you can buy this. I'll just pick this up from Waitrose. Flip again.
And the purpose being, what does it do?
That's going to go into the sauce and make it really, you know, that marrow on bone on toast, which is lovely, quite old-fashioned.
Yeah.
Now, I will also use these. These are brilliant to probe. So you're not sure what temperature you want your meat. Put this in here. the middle.
And that says?
So, what'll happen, let's flip that again in a second. That's it, give it a flip. So,
I ordered this to be
medium rare.
Medium rare.
Now, medium rare, blue is 45, rare is 50, medium rare is 55, medium is 60, medium well 65, and well done 70.
I see.
So what we're looking for is 55.
55, yeah.
However, we have to take it off before 55 because there's going to be residual heat. It's going to carry on heating up. We'll be getting close. Now I'm going to just add some of this reduced stock. This is a great barbecues. Because most blokes love standing by a barbecue anyway. You got your beer in one hand, and you just keep flipping. And I mean, it doesn't have to be 15, 20 seconds exactly, but you don't want to leave it to half a minute.
No,
across.
no.
Just keep flipping.
Yeah.
So you just
So the more flips you can get in, the better.
kind of yes, exactly.
Kind of, yeah.
So I think we're going to be really close to that now. There you go. So, if you feel that now, give that a squeeze.
Oh, Jesus. It's,
Maybe give it a squeeze in a second then.
yeah. You guys don't have the same kind of nerve endings that we've got. You burnt them off. That was hot. That's all you were laughing.
Sorry, I didn't think about it. So if you look down here, again, I've measured the thicker end. We're now 53. That should just sit nice at 55.
Wonderful.
I'm just going to finish a little bit of vinegar, just for some acidity. Again, that's something that a lot of chefs don't think about. Acidity is really important to cut through richness. So I'm just going to a little bit of lemon juice in there as well. And mustard. A little bit of Dijon mustard. Which will thicken as well as give you that nice kind of mouthfeel and acidity. So I'm going to take some parsley and just
I'm glad you didn't ask me to do that.
over the business. A little bit of butter, not too much. Some chives after I've completely covered the work surface with herbs. I'll chop those again in a second. And then here, just and get the chives. And then some tarragon, which works really well. You've got to be careful with tarragon that you don't overuse it because it can be quite powerful. So rather than chopping some, what I'm going to do is a couple of these sprigs, pop it in till I think there's enough flavour, then take it out again.
All right.
So I'm just slicing that. Put it on there. There. And then salt and pepper.
Here we go.
Thank you.
Salt.
Just drain the chips. Look at my...
What do you want?
Oh, there. That's like when you get your glasses off and you still think they're on. You do this.
Yes. This smells wonderful. It really does.
Stick this on a plate. There. Just check the sauce.
The thing about this is that you don't have to say, and here's what I made earlier.
I know this has all been done
I also don't.
from scratch. I haven't got the marrow in there yet.
Well, that is beautiful.
Got
Wow.
the sort of texture from the onion as well.
You'd be happy with that, wouldn't you? That's lovely. It really is. Yeah, the onion is quite solid, isn't it? Lovely.
Yeah.
Comes through.
You can have a...
Thank you. There you go. Perfect. Soft in the middle.
Soft and raw, and then finish with the sauce. You can see the marrow bone now. It's all softened.
I love the way you do the
The
thing.
little
I can't do
drizzle.
that. No, it goes all over the shop.
And that's it. Steak and triple cooked chips.
Fun. Kind of a little taste. Maybe, may I?
Of course. That's a fantastic bit. Actually works. It's called the cap. So you taste that, and that's very succulent because of the connective tissue. And then
Oh, beautiful. Oh,
through there.
talk among yourselves for a while. That, have a bit. That is fantastic.
If you look at this, this is a great way with this flipping steak. Can you see? There's no. It's kind of evenly cooked all the way through.
Absolutely.